process been like for you since kind of stepping into the interim role?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, right? I mean, we found out in mid-December, and just trying to, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with Coach G. It's a tough thing I think she's going through from a health standpoint. I hope she gets all the help she needs, but I think in the meantime, I'm kind of just trying to keep the boat afloat and moving in the right direction.
You've been a head coach before, but how does your approach change kind of when you're in interim in kind of these circumstances?
It really doesn't. I mean, I think our job as a coaching staff is just try to produce an environment that's conducive to winning softball games. So it really doesn't change from a standpoint of whether you're an interim or a head coach. I think from a staff standpoint, we've pretty much have been on the same sheet of music since I've been here. So I'm just trying to carry that on.
What was it like last year when you're hosting Big Tens, but obviously disappointing season and not being able to actually partake in that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not hiding the fact we didn't have a good year. It just wasn't what we expected and what we wanted. Um, you just kind of move on from that. I would hope that puts a pretty big chip on the girls' shoulders in terms of hosting a conference tournament and not playing in it. So I think it has. I think they're hungry. They seem to be working really hard at what we're trying to accomplish here, and hopefully it pays off here in the next week or so.
How have you seen Jenna kind of go from year one to year two? Obviously, big transition there.
Yeah, I mean, she's continuing to blossom. She's hitting the ball actually better now than she did at the end of last year, so I'm really excited about her. She's the epitome of a Hawkeye. I mean, she's homegrown, right, and just a cage rat. We love to see that, and she's kind of come out of her shell a little bit. She was pretty quiet her first year, but has taken on some leadership characteristics, which is really fun to see. So I look for her to have another tremendous year.
How much does NIL play a factor in building and sustaining a softball roster at this level?
Yeah, I mean, I think it plays a big part in it. Everyone, of course, would like to see more of that. You look at a team like Texas Tech, who put a lot of money into that, and I guess it shows up in terms of being a top 10 contender now, right? So, which we faced the first weekend right off the bat, so we'll get tested early. But yeah, it plays a big part in it.
Am I remembering correctly that Riley got hurt toward the end of last year?
Yeah, that was a big loss for us, and she's still struggling with that lower leg injury. Still going through therapy. That's a big loss for us. I think she led the team in hitting actually. It's 390 or something like that. And just there was times you couldn't get her out. So that's a tough shoes to fill there for sure.
How soon do you think, at some point in 2025, or kind of what's her prognosis at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. That's the trainer and her. We kind of just hope for the best there, and whenever they say she's cleared to go, we go for it, right? But she's a hard worker. I mean, she's going to do everything she can to get back on the field.
What do you hope to see in this first weekend?
Like I said, we're going to get tested early. I mean, I think 3 top 15 teams, depending on what poll you're looking at. So, yeah, it'll tell us where we're at for sure right off the bat. So, going to go out there and compete and do the best we can and see what happens.
You got 3 freshmen from California. What do those 3 bring? You have a couple other Californians on the roster as well, but what do those 3 bring?
Yeah, I mean, Alyssa, a Prentice stick. I mean, she can hit the ball. She'll be getting some playing time for sure. Brianna Johnson, I think she's on the top freshman watch list, if I'm not mistaken. She's doing really well. Another really hard worker, comes from good pedigree. I mean, her dad Nick played for the Yankees for a long time, so in the Nationals. So, yeah, we're looking for big things from both of them. Yeah.
Who are some players that you've seen taking a very big step up this past offseason, gearing up for this season?
Yeah, well, I've been looking at Jenna and Jalen Adams, another Iowa girl, is kind of the backbone of the pitching staff. Looking for Jaylee Ojo to step up. She's coming off injury as well. Had some good outings last year, so I'm looking for her when she's 100% what she can really do. Haley Downs stepped up from a pitching standpoint. Sue Jin Berry is another one that had some injuries last year, but started off really well. So I'm looking for her to do well. I mean, there's a lot of positive steps we've made, and a lot of girls that have really stepped it up here in just the last few weeks.
What do you expect from the pitching staff this season coming forward?
We expect. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? The pitchers in the circle, and like I said, I mentioned a couple of them, and Jalen and Jaylee, and then Andy Wolfiak has looked good. Young pitcher out of California, Sophia Elliott's looked very well. Maya. They all look really good, but I'm really excited to see how they blossom with the addition of Carl Golan, our pitching coach. I mean, he's so knowledgeable, and just to listen to him talk about pitching is pretty impressive. So I think having a pitching coach like that that's been at the world stage and won national and world championships is invaluable, and knows what it takes to win and have high output type teams.
How much of a jump do you think is realistic, kind of when you start talking postseason, etc., kind of after last year's disappointing season?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at our conference losses, I want to say 7 of those were by 1 run. I mean, so if you look at it in that way, we're right there. I mean, you change a few of those games and it's a different season. So the expectations to get in the conference tournament and do well in it. So, I mean, our job, I think, as a coaching staff is try to extend the season as long as we can. So getting to a regionals, I think, a major step, and when we're trying to produce here. Yeah.
What do you think of the Big Ten? Obviously, 3 added schools that all are pretty good softball programs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's made the Big Ten conference, one of, if not the best softball conferences in the country. When you add, those 3 West Coast teams. So yeah, they're all very well coached. There's never a day off when you're playing in the Big Ten. So, but on the flip side of that, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. That's what makes the conference so great.